So ways of finding these agents that you're going to connect your trusting buyers to. First, check your in-house list. See if there's an agent in the area that you're looking to serve. Check Workplace or whatever community it is that your brokerage uses. Check social media. Social media is a phenomenal place to both find and be found. You don't want to sleep on that. You want to make sure that everybody who's following you on social media knows what areas you serve, and also go to social media to connect with other agents, to connect to see what areas they serve. Ask around. Everybody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows something about it, okay? Use Google. Even after I've connected with someone on social media or I've checked my in-house list, I'll still sometimes go to Google, check their Zillow reviews or their Google reviews, see what other folks have said about them. Do that preliminary research step. Just that little bit of due diligence can help make sure that you're making the right connection to these buyers and sellers who are trusting you to lead them to someone who would be great for them or who would be a really great fit. In addition to checking their sales history and reviews, you want to actually make a call to these people. Pick up the phone, reach out to the agent, let them know what areas you're searching for. Make sure that they actually serve the areas and that they're familiar with the areas that your buyer or your seller is wanting to do business in. Also, make sure that the timeline fits. Make sure that they're available to work during the timeline or the time frame that your buyer or seller is needing. If you know your buyer or seller, if you've had a conversation with them, if you're familiar at all with what it is that they want out of an agent or what it is that they need, make sure that you compare those personalities when you're talking to the agent. Kind of fill out the situation. You'll know whether or not you think that, hey, this agent may be a little bit too aggressive or maybe this agent won't be aggressive enough. You make sure that you do your part with determining whether or not this connection is going to be a good one, because it would definitely make a difference on whether or not they come to you first again if ever they or someone that they know needs assistance. Once you feel comfortable with placing the referral, make sure that all parties are on the same page with how you're going to be compensated. And by all parties in this case, I mean both you, your broker, the agent that you're referring to, and their broker. You have to make sure that whatever fee it is that you're charging, and there is no set fee, but whatever fee that is that you and your broker have determined that you need to charge, make sure that the agent you're referring to and their broker is agreeing. And you don't want to just take word of mouth. Everything needs to be in writing. So for instance, if you've decided that you're going to charge 20 or 25%, then make sure that you send a formal referral in writing signed by both you and your broker, and have that signed by both the agent and their broker. That way, it's copacetic. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what's to be expected. And you know that once this property closes, whether it's a buyer or a seller, that you will be compensated. It's up to you, your broker, and the agent that you're referring to and their broker on how you guys want to work the referral fees. There's always an option of an upfront referral fee. There's also an option of a percentage that's received at closing, which basically means if the property doesn't close, then you won't receive that fee. But if the property does close, you will. And that's the same case with the buyer or the seller's agent. Typically, they may not get compensated unless that property closes, in which case that's when you would receive compensation too. There's no set way of doing it. You really have to speak to the broker that you're affiliated with. Make sure that they're on board with whatever you decide to do, and then make sure your co-oping agent or the agent that you're referring to and their broker is on board as well. That's the most important part. So stay in the loop, but also stay in your lane, okay? You definitely want to make an effort to stay connected, to stay involved, to make sure that the agent is comfortable, that the buyer is comfortable, that everything is moving along the way that you expected it to when you initially made the referral. It's important to be aware that the transaction is progressing and that everything is moving towards closing. Be available to answer questions to the extent that you're capable of, and just be supportive and be encouraging. Sometimes, especially with new buyers or sellers, there may be a little bit of cold feet. You can always offer whatever sort of support that you can offer from your end, but also you just want to make sure that you're not stepping on the toes of the agent that you referred to. You referred these folks to that agent. You have to trust them. Allow them to do their job. If there's some sort of extreme instance where you feel like your buyer or your seller is not being supported or represented fairly, in that case, you may want to intervene, have a conversation with the agent, and possibly encourage some sort of conversation between the agent and the client so that they can either work it out or possibly split ways if, for whatever reason, the referral is just not working. Again, be available, be present, be aware of how the progression is going, but don't overstep. Allow them to do their job. So the last step of this is to get paid. You've connected the agent with the client. They've moved forward with their transaction. They've closed. And at the end of the day, once the property is closed, your referral agent and their broker will receive their commission. Your broker will receive the commission that was agreed upon in writing at the beginning of the referral. And at the end, whatever commission you get to actually take home depends on the agreement between you and your broker. You have a commission split or you just have a set fee that you pay at every transaction is completely specific to the broker that you're with. So you can always refer back to the checklist that I provided in the first section so that you can kind of determine how you would get paid in this instance. Also, if you read in the course, you'll see in this section a breakdown of how referrals work. Again, percentages are not set. This is only an example, but it will give you an idea of how the breakdown is between you, your broker, the referral agent, and their broker, and how ultimately you can get paid by referring folks to other cities and receiving referral fees.